viewers, Rectangular back, this time with another haul video. Here we have the Marvel Legends Thanos wave, and I'm extremely excited to finally get my hands on these. Actually picked up all these at Target and also had a pre-order from an online seller that I'm going to be comparing the ones that I got loose with these so that I can return the ones with the worst paint applications. And I'm not going to review them. A lot of people have already put up reviews. My buddy Dominic, aka Advocate Pinoy, and Shartimus Prime has already reviewed all these, so I'm just going to go over the QC issues that I find with mine. You know, I've got two sets at least, in some cases 3 different versions to compare them with, so that way you can take a look at yours and see how yours turned out compared to the ones that I picked up. The movie figures I don't really care about. I'm kind of happy to get a new Hulk, and the Iron Man's not bad, but definitely don't care about getting a repainted Captain America, especially from the movie. So I didn't have room to fit him in the shot, and honestly, you know, I'm kind of sick of getting Captain America every single year. We got 2 last year, so hopefully next year will be a year without a Cap, but we shall see. So let's go ahead and get these cracked open and get a closer look at them. Okay, here we have all of the figures I'm keeping, except for Captain America. The others that were worse, had worse quality control problems than these, I'm returning. Captain America I am going to return as well, but I figured I'd throw him in there just so I can go over the issues I found with mine. But yeah, so let's start off on the right here. Hulk, the one that I ended up not keeping, actually, this is the one I got from the package. The other one I got loose, and the head on the other one had a I think the yellow from the off-white from the teeth. He had a spot on the side of his face. Both figures, the eyes didn't look that good. This one's not that great. And the other one, the leg actually popped off, and it wouldn't easily go back on. I could probably heat it up and get it back on, but I didn't want to mess with it, so I just kept this one instead. Not only I don't like the joints that they ended up using for this figure. They're really weird, kind of oblong shaped, but the figure is really bow-legged, and I don't know if that's part of the design flaw or just the way he's packaged. He barely fits in the box, so I'm hoping that I can just heat up those joints and do the hot cold water trick, and hopefully get him to straighten out, because he's extremely bow-legged. I just noticed a picture that Arvin posted on the ACBA page, and his figure is walking in the forest, and it looks really bow-legged as well. So I think this is a pretty common problem with this figure. The Spider Women, this one is by far the best of the 3. All of them seem to have a lot of paint blotchiness in the yellow on her belly. So I'm hoping I can kind of match that yellow and try to thicken that up a little bit. A lot of them also had black blemishes, especially in the yellow areas like the boots, and I was able to just rub off the black residue with my fingers, and that fortunately worked pretty well. I don't know if you can see here. I'm going to pick this up. but this wing, it's going to show up on camera, but there is something embedded in the plastic there, like a piece of cardboard or wood or something. I'm thinking it's cardboard or wood or something, but it looks like there's a splinter of some kind, material, that's embedded in the plastic. It's not just you know, paint residue or anything. So that's pretty lame. I think the other set I have is okay, so this one won't get returned to the store. And let's see, the lipstick is off on both of these, but the other one was actually worse, and she's got a tiny bit of flesh paint on her mask, and the eyes on these are okay. None of them are perfect. Fortunately, none of the ones I have the issue of the scalp misaligned. I'm going to pull this one up just to double check. Actually, this one is. I don't know if you can see that, but the hair is too far back on her head, so she has like a crater there on her forehead. So I can't remember who posted a picture. I don't know if it was Michael Sanchez or Luis Maldonado. One of those guys was asking if other people had this problem, and he said that, yeah, that it was even worse on his. So I may end up popping the head off of the other figure I have that I was going to return, but I think these other two are okay. Yeah, it's a tiny bit noticeable in these, but not terrible. She's the worst, but it's not super noticeable unless you're right up on top of her. But you can notice a slight line there. I don't know if you can. It's probably not showing up on camera, but overall, paint is okay, not too bad for the lines. Another thing I noticed is that, oh, on this one, there's a lot more orange in the triangle that's in her upper chest. So you know, it's kind of the same shading that they went with on the back of the legs. So don't know if that bothers me or not, but otherwise this one turned out the best. And with Hellcat, again, I had a lot of issues with black on her chest, probably scraping on the inside of the package, and I just, you know, took my thumb and was able to wipe that off. Same with on her legs, had similar issues. One of the legs, this one is really loose at the knee on this figure, but I'm gonna have to go over that blue plastic on the lower legs with some yellow paint to tighten that up anyway. Let's see. Otherwise, they turn out pretty well. The lipstick is not perfect on I think on this one. This one looks really good, and I guess that's pretty much it. I had told a couple of my friends that the only way they could have really made this figure perfect as far as the paint inconsistencies down here is if they had used a yellow plastic for the lower legs and either just painted the lower legs blue, from the calf down blue, or ideally they would have given us lower leg rotation and had this blue plastic and then this yellow plastic, and then you wouldn't have any paint issues as far as rubbing or matching inconsistencies. Captain America, he looks okay. His paint is pretty decent. The eyes are a little bit, I think he's looking a little bit to his left, so don't know how common that is. I'm going to take a look at him a little closer to see, but the A looks pretty good. and just a little bit of white paint missing there on the abs. Just a tiny bit of red bleeding into the white. But the stripes on his legs, for the most part, pretty good. The one major issue I have with him is the paint on his gloves is really sloppy. So fortunately, I don't need this Captain America, but I haven't compared him with the movie cap to see if they're the exact same gloves. They probably are. That maybe the paint color for the gloves themselves might be a little bit different. I don't know. I don't feel like digging them out to compare. And the Thanos parts don't have any problems so far. Haven't tried to fully assemble my Thanos yet, or either my two Thanoses. But the knuckles, I've noticed on some of them, the ones that I decided not to keep, the silver paint is a little bit sloppy or missing. It could be a lot thicker on some of the parts that I did get. So if you're looking at them in the store, and you're worried about paint, don't have paint to do yourself, watch out for that. Alright, let's move on to the next row of figures. Here in the bottom row we have the parts for the torso and heads for Thanos, along with Iron Man and Batroc. Now let's start on the left with Iron Man. This one that I got loose, the leg is really bent, so I don't know if the seller just packaged him that way so that his leg got warped during shipment, but my guess is it probably was like that in the package. And his forearm is missing some gold paint there, so and the eyes, the blue is a little bit misaligned there on the eyes, so this one I'll definitely be keeping. And same with the head, the face. The mustache looks pretty good. His eyes are a little bit derpy, not too bad, and the eye alignment is pretty decent there on the helmet mask. Whereas this one, the helmet is a little bit more off on the eyes. The eyes are probably equally as derpy, but his mustache is actually cockeyed over to the right a little bit. Especially on the lower part of the mustache there on his lower lip is off, so definitely going to be returning that one. And Batroc, they were all pretty much the same. The QC's not good on either. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the lines are pretty straight. The one that I rejected, the chest piece, was missing some gold there in the inner ring, so I got rid of that one and kept these. The lines are not completely connected there on his forearm, but nothing I can't fix with that. The mask is definitely needing some black paint touch up. The eyes could be a little bit better, a little bit more white. And the teeth are okay. There's a little bit of flesh colored paint going into the teeth, so hopefully I can touch that up as well. His mustache is also crooked on this one, so hopefully I can heat it up and then let it cool down, and hopefully get it to mold back into a better position. This guy turned out much better. His mustache is more crisp in the right angles, but all of them have this the purple paint is kind of missing on a lot of these areas in the lower torso there, which is that gold plastic. So hopefully I can match that purple paint. And with Thanos, they're all kind of missing. Could use an extra coat of paint there on the stripe down the center of his chest. Got quite a few heads to pick through. A lot of them, these two are probably the best. A lot of inconsistency with the paint, the purple paint for his flesh going into the eye socket, and then or missing not enough paint for his eyes. Also, the gold stripe on the top of his head is very light on some. These two are pretty good. This one's missing just a little bit on the middle, but these are some of the worst ones. The paint, you can see, is completely off center there. It's off on the side. But the front looks pretty decent. The eyes look okay. This one again is a little bit off, and that one's not too bad. It's just a little faint in the front. So I know I'm going to do some sculpting to give him a more angry face, and then on a couple of the arms or hands, I'm gonna do gauntlets on at least one of them. So stay tuned for those modifications in the future. Real quick before I wrap up the video, I wanted to show you guys this head swap that I did with the Marvel Select Spider-Woman in order to get a better range of motion out of the head. As you can see, the Spider-Woman in the far rear, her back is pretty much straight, and she's able to look up far more than the other figures. That is the head off the Marvel Select Spider-Woman. Then we just have the new Thanos Spider-Woman in the middle, and her hair is so stiff she can't, and she has no peg in her neck. Wouldn't help things anyway, because of the hard plastic of that hair. That's the best that you're going to get out of her looking up. And then we have the Toy Biz Marvel Legends horrible Spider-Woman there in the front, and even with her leaning way back, she still can't look up nearly as far as the Spider-Woman in the rear. So basically what I did was I took the head off of the Marvel Select Spider-Woman and get her out of the way, and I'll show you that figure. So here's the Marvel Select Spider-Woman body, and you can see they're almost the same size, so it works really well. The heads are very similar in size, and you know, it's just sitting on there. You could use some wax or sticky tack, something like that, but what I did was I cut the plastic in the hair in the back, and then I removed as much of the hair from the head as possible. It's showing up on camera there, but and then I got a black twist tie and just wadded it up and jammed it in there so that there's more space between her head and the back of her hair. So otherwise it's really close. Even though this is a much softer plastic, it's still very thick and very close to the back of her head, so you need some space in there so that when you put the head on, and you can get it to look straight, but it's still kind of a little bit awkward. It's just made for this looking up pose. So you know, if she's coming at you like this, it's a much better look than with this figure. You can't nearly get her in the same pose. You know, she's not going to be able to look up nearly as much. So I think this is going to work out really well. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.
That's crispy.